Welcome back to the channel's Super Academico and Blue Eye Patch. Let us keep the reading of my book Clueders, Meire Pop Beyond the Cloud, available on Amazon. In this part, we will keep the reading of the Chapter 6, a reminder of the future, games, books, and digital life. Don't forget to subscribe to both channels and like and share the video. Let's go! The huge banner at the entrance said in huge, colorful letters, "Geeks, nerds, clueders, and gamers of the world unite, for the future is yours. Welcome." Leandro had a smile from ear to ear. I held his hand and was careful not to get lost in the crowd. Around me were boys with themed t-shirts talking about and browsing through comic books that I had no idea where they were from. A group of girls dressed in pink were laughing just for being in a group. Men, already in their 40s or 50s, also wore t-shirts of characters and heroes, as if they were boys, and they spent time talking a same language full of secret codes. I don't know if it was an old dialect of old people, or whether it was Klingon. We went through a group of girls wearing various characters' cosplay. Leandro turned his head looking at them, and I poked him lightly. It was not so jealous of the costumed girls, but he kept staring at them, which could be regarded as impolite towards us. Women. He looked at me rather apologetically. Before we reached the entrance to the online games pavilion, Leandro met some friends. I think they had already set this event way before we started dating, because I could not remember him mentioning anything about it in the previous 4 months. They talked enthusiastically about the launches, the battles, the new graphics, the local and outside teams that would be present. A lot I did not know, but it all fascinated me. I was really happy, only my expression changed suddenly. Leo looked at me and asked, "What is it, Meire? You suddenly look scared." "Leo," I paused, for it was hard to believe. "Look who's there." I pointed out. It was Professor Mello, whose digital presence in my life was beginning to haunt me from the previous week on, and by then I was already beginning to forget about, enjoying very nice days. And now he was there, just over 20 meters from us, chatting with members of one of the online game teams that would play later. And the worst, or just weird, of all was who was with him, closest father and son or whatever. It gave me even shudder to think of what I thought. What the hell is your teacher doing here and in the company of Marcos? My schoolmate and ex-boyfriend? Well, Meire, I don't know. He stared at me for some time trying to figure out what I was feeling. Finally, he asked, "Do you want to go there and ask?" I looked at him reproachfully, but in truth he could not know what I was feeling, for I did not even know what I felt. It was a mixture of fear, anger, jealousy, indignation. I'm not sure what else, and also a serious mistrust that this was not just a coincidence. I decided that we would really go there and talk to them, face the situation. I pulled Leandro by the hand, and we walked to the two doing zigzags by the crowd of people who separated us from them. Anyway, we arrived. "Hi, Marcos." "Meire? What are you doing here?" He looked first at me, then at Leandro, who was coming soon after. Professor Mello also saw us. "Now, look who's here." What a happy, tragic failure. I looked deeply, but still with a certain fear for those attentive but aged eyes, much more than the real age of him. It seemed that the teacher's slackness with his own appearance was something planned, as if he wanted to stay young in the eyes of his students and the younger clueders. For me, it resembled more and more an old man full of bitterness and ironies. "Well, Professor Mello, I'm beginning to think it's really tragic." He gave that superior smile again. Leandro, however, was quite taken aback by my response. "Meire, come on." "Sorry, Professor. Meire is a little nervous about some things that have happened these past few days." "I know." Professor Mello's condescending response was full of misunderstandings. He could really know what my nervousness was all about, himself and his intrusion into my digital life. Or he might be disdainful of Leandro, indicating that he knew it was no nervousness, but in fact an affront to his pernicious presence in my life consciously in the last week and a half, but in fact long before, at least 2 years earlier, when I had begun my blog and my digital life indeed. Or, who knows, he just did not know anything, and just wanted to be nice. That was the coolest choice, but to me the least likely. Marcos finally got into the conversation. He was somewhat oblivious in the situation. Do you know each other? Apparently, more than anyone could imagine Marcos. I replied, exchanging glances with Leandro and Mello, who were comfortably settling into a chair and preparing to call and plug in their next-generation computer.
He smiled then.
A confident and frightening smile, but still nice, as was his response. Marcos. She means that she recently discovered that I am one of her biggest fans. A frequent follower of her writing career. I missed it. Writer? Writer? Well, Meire, you see yourself as a blogger, but for all intents and purposes you're a writer, because you write. It doesn't matter now, Marcos. How do you two know each other? I was afraid I'd already know the answer. Professor Mello and my parents have long been friends. He is always present when we have been here, and with my parents in Uruguay since last year, he has been an adult company for me, besides the maid and the driver at home. That is what happens when you have a boyfriend with a private life so mysterious. I was relieved to remember why we broke up.
I hope you have enjoyed this reading. Continuing to support the channel's Super Academico and Blue Eye Patch. Subscribe, like and share the video. Bye-bye.